Welcome back to another edition of Gary's Record Collection. So, if you look at the collection that I have online, we've got a lot of different kind of music. Led Zeppelin, The Grateful Dead, Rush. Also, like Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Big fan of a lot of different kinds of music. So I'm on a Herb Alpert and a Tijuana Brass Facebook page, a fan page. And somebody posted a picture of a knockoff record. Now, knockoffs were soundalike artists that were put out in the 60s, especially. Somebody was popular, somebody else would capitalize on that and put a soundalike album on. There was so many for the Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. There was the Mexicali Brass. There was all sorts of different groups that all they wanted to do was put out a cheap album and capitalize on that name and earn some cash, get some money just for that music. So I'm on this Herb Alpert page not too long ago, and they post a picture of a knockoff record, and here it is. And I'm like, I lost my mind right away because it is Colonel Sanders, of all people, from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders' Tijuana Picnic. My first reaction was, I need this album right away. So, and I got it. I went to Discogs, and somebody had it for sale. It's actually in decent shape. It's not bad for what it is. 1967, I think, is when it came out. And it's great. This is just hilarious. Here's Colonel Sanders having a picnic. So, put out by Mark56 Records, produced by George Garabedian, and that's going to be an important in a minute when we talk a little bit more about this. But let's get to the music. I have not heard this, so I've been waiting to do this. So we're going to put that on. We were going to put a little of it on just to see if it's good or bad or ugly, because you never know with this stuff. Let's start with the first song on side one is A Taste of Honey. Very popular by Herb Alpert. Ooh. All right, right off the top, the sound is thin. It's very thin for what they were trying to go for. And also the timing didn't sound right. It sounded like they missed a beat or something when they did the intro. So I'm not good on this one. They're trying. So let's skip to ahead. We're going to go to, let's go to Spanish Flea. Okay, it's not terrible as a cover version. It's a little bit slower, I think, than the original Herb Alpert version, but not terrible. Skip ahead. Track 5 on side 1 is Our Day Will Come, which is an odd choice to put on, but it was a good Herb Alpert song here. Again, with that thin sound of the trumpets, there's just not a lot of range in there. Okay. Yeah, not terrible, but let's see what else we got. If our luck gets any better, let's head over to Tijuana Taxi. Wait a minute, what? Let's go back. again, it's a little bit slower than the original, and it's also much more I don't know, robotic. They're really hitting the 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But that intro was terrible because it was supposed to be the taxi horn, and they all they did is use a trumpet, so that's just not acceptable. So we're gonna file that under needs improvement. How about that? How about green peppers? Again, with that robotic, very 1 2 3 4. And I mean, these songs were like all over the radio, and I mean, if you put this on your record player, you know, be like, I spent money on this. I'm out. You know how much ever it cost at the time, probably $1.99. I don't know. I'm gonna move ahead. This is the last track on the Third Man theme. It doesn't swing. It doesn't swing like the Herb Alpert versions. I mean, it's like they're reading off sheet music, and they don't have any feeling in it. They're just going by what's on the printed page. It is not that good. So, I mean, if they bought this album in 1967 and you were expecting Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, you were sorely disappointed because this is not the same. However, years later as a collector, you look at it as like, oh, this is great. This is a cool album to have. Now, the interesting thing here, and I've alluded to it earlier, is that, here we go. Let's find this. We said that it was Mark56 Records. George Garabedian is the producer, right? So why is that important? Because if you go, I found another record called Taco Bell Presents Tijuana Taxi. Yeah, and guess who it's on? It's Mark56 Records, produced by George Garabedian. And guess what? Most of the songs listed are the same. So what I want to do is, and I haven't listened to this because I got these all at like the same time. So I have this one loaded up, and I want to compare between Colonel Sanders and then the Taco Bell one and see if they're the same. And I'm suspecting that all of these are the same, and this George Garabedian guy just had a whole bunch of songs and just put them on records for whoever sponsored it. And because there's a lot of sponsors of these records out there, it's insane how many different versions there are. So let's see. Let's go back to... Well, you know what? Tijuana Taxi was the main offender, right? So let's do Tijuana Taxi. This is the Colonel Sanders one. All right. Now we'll head to the Taco Bell one. Let's see. Yep. So there it is. It is the same exact, all these songs are the same. And I guess this is how they decided that this Mark56 Records, they were going to make their money by putting out these different versions of the same album with the same contents and mix it up a little bit. Like the Taco Bell album actually has, instead it has the different songs on here include Cabaret, 19 Cents Frijoles, Name, Winchester Cathedral, and then Lullaby, Taco Bell, and El Burrito. And then I found another one, and this is still sealed. This is from 1976. Global Van Lines presents Tijuana Taxi. I have not opened this because it's still sealed, right? So it's a collectible. But on here is mostly the same songs, except they have Chile Verde, Zorba the Greek, and El Toro. And on the back, here's an album of great hits made famous by you-know-who, as played by some of the finest recording musicians in America. Wow, I don't know that this is and I went on the internet and I tried to look it up to see how many different versions there were, and there were a lot. This guy, I don't know, he sold his soul to the devil or what, but apparently if you had a business, this guy would come along and say, hey, you want to put your business name on the front of an album? And no problem. We'll just create new artwork. We'll put your logo on there, slap it in. I got a whole bunch of songs. We'll put them on there. It'll be great. A crazy deal, crazy idea. But it was very prolific. I mean, I was looking, like I said, I was looking on the internet and I found, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like Tasty Freeze presents, and Acme, and Pepsi Cola, and Culligan. The Culligan Man was put out an album. Union Oil, 76. There is so much out there, but it's all the same music regurgitated. So I don't know if I'm going to try and collect them all. I don't even know if there's a way to tell how many there are. Because there's no standardization. I mean, obviously, we know from comparing that the same music is used on the two that I listed. So Tijuana Picnic, on Discogs it says unknown artist, but really it's the George Garabedian Players, which is what is listed on the other Discogs entries. So I don't know. That may take a while to compile. That would be an interesting thing to get. And I don't know. That is that's just crazy. But and that's the whole thing about discount albums, budget albums, drugstore records. We talked about those and a few other things. There was this whole subgenre of the record industry that would just make records that were to be sold cheap, and they were soundalikes. And as long as they got out there and got in a bin, somebody was going to buy them. I mean, we talked about the Watkins Glen Summerfest a while back, and it was like, oh, look, I went to the festival, here's the record. Oh no, it's just cover artist after I bought it, because it doesn't really glorify that on the front cover. So anyway, so there you have it. Colonel Sanders' Tijuana Picnic. I think apart from the music, I definitely bought it for the cover. I think that's a great cover. So I am glad I got it. I don't regret it, but the music is, boy, thin, robotic, could have been so much better, but oh well, we're stuck with what we have. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again next time on Gary's Record Collection.